Welcome to Aligned with Kell Quarrell, the podcast where we talk all things small business. It's a mix of mindset, empowerment, real conversations, and of course, alignment. I'm your host, Kell Quarrell, a businesswoman with close to 20 years of business experience. Get ready for a mix of solo deep dives and inspiring interviews with awesome guests who will share how they have aligned their businesses with the lives they love. Let's dive in to align your business with the life you've always wanted. Welcome to another episode of Aligned with Kell Quarrell. I am Kell, and today is actually going to be another solo deep dive session. I was hoping to have my business bestie and good friend, Dr. Ali Young, on the podcast this week. However, we were set to record her episode on Monday, and my day just went sideways. And so we have postponed the recording until this coming Friday, and Ali's episode will be out next week. However, the timing is actually really quite great because yesterday I had the wonderful Claire Wood, who is a money mentor, as our industry expert inside Bold Aligned Business. And I wanted to share some of the absolute golden nuggets that Claire shared with us during her session. And for me, they just really landed. And I feel like it is such incredibly valuable information that I wanted to share it here on the podcast. The first thing was very early in Claire's presentation, she shared, if it's important to you, you need to prioritize time to work on it. Now, to me, that is extremely obvious. And I went immediately into what is most important to me in regards to my health and fitness and well-being. And that is actually one of my core values. Health, fitness, looking after myself. And so I prioritize moving my body, going to the gym, hydrating and eating well as the first thing that I do each and every day, 6 days a week. And so what is really important to me is reflective in my calendar and in my schedule. I prioritize my health and well-being and my fitness by moving my body, hydrating and eating well each and every day. What I did also realize is that one of my other core values is freedom. And freedom to me is being able to do what I want, when I want, with whom I want. And I know for me to have that level of freedom, I'm going to need money, and I'm going to require money so that I can have the choice and the freedom to do all of the things that I want to do. I'm going to need to generate wealth. However, if I'm looking at my calendar and I'm looking at my schedule and I'm saying that these things are important to me, they are not reflective of my actions and the time that I am spending on really understanding money and my wealth. And so I just want to take a moment there to allow that to land for you. Freedom is one of my highest priorities. It is extremely important to me. And I know for me, not saying that that is the same for you, that money is going to play a huge role in giving me the freedom that I am looking for. However, I do not prioritize the time to really understand and exactly know all I need to know about my money. And therefore, I have to ask myself the question, is it really that important to me? And the reason that I have uncovered that I am not prioritizing the time in my calendar and in my schedule is because there is discomfort around really digging into my money and my relationship with money. And I just found that that was such incredible insight and valuable information, because I do know that freedom is one of my highest values. I do know that the level of freedom that I want to create is going to come from having more money. However, it's easier to avoid the perceived discomfort that comes from really diving deep and understanding my money. And so I'm going to ask you the question. What is it that is in your life that you say is really important to you, yet you are not prioritizing the time to focus on that area? It could be for you, your health and well-being. You might know how important being fit and healthy is. However, there may be a whole lot of discomfort tied to you knowing what it's going to take to improve that area of your life. And that discomfort might come from just a perception that you are starting all the way back at the beginning. There might be discomfort around your body might already be hurting and you don't understand, or you don't want to consider moving your body out of fear of that it might be hurting more to get to where it is that you want to go. And so for me, I've always just told myself a story that I don't like the numbers. You know, I'm here more around having fun and that freedom and that flexibility. However, that is just a story. That is an old mindset and an old belief that I don't like the numbers. I'm not interested in the nitty-gritty. Yet to have the level of freedom that I am really wanting to create, I need to get very familiar with the nitty-gritty. I need to shift that story and that mindset around the money and understanding my money. And so I got so much value from Claire's session yesterday personally, and I know it really landed for a lot of the members inside Bold Aligned Business as well. And for me, there was two very different, almost polarizing examples in my own life. One, health, fitness, well-being, very important, a core value of mine, and one that I prioritize without even thinking about it now each and every morning. That is the first thing that I do. I get up at 5 o'clock, I go and move my body, I come back, I hydrate, I eat well, I tick that off because it is a core value of mine. On the other hand, another core value of mine is freedom. And it is the freedom to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, which I know will come from money. It will come from me generating the wealth that will give me the choice and that freedom. And yet, it is not reflective in my calendar and my schedule. And so what I'm taking away from yesterday's session with Claire is that I get to make the change to that. I get to change the story, and I get to immediately implement some of the incredible things that Claire shared on our session yesterday. Practical, simple steps that we can take to build a better relationship with money. Now, as I said, these were the two examples that jumped out at me. And it is because, one, yes, they're important. Two, one of them I'm prioritizing, the other is not. And that is because of the perceived discomfort that will come from spending the time and prioritizing the time on leaning into really knowing my numbers and understanding my money more. So that I'm shifting that story. I am changing. I am creating myself a new story. And I am now going to, at the advice of Claire and her sharing her very practical steps that she does each and every day, each week, each month, I'm going to be having money meetings with myself to start to shift and change the story of I don't like the numbers, I'm not interested in the nitty-gritty, and I'm going to build that relationship so that I can have the freedom that I want to have in my life. So short, punchy, kind of deep dive session today on the podcast. I hope that through me sharing and being open and very honest around my experiences that I took away from Claire's session yesterday inside Borderline Business, that it might shed some light on something that you are saying is important to you. However, that is not reflective in the time that you are spending on that. And maybe it is because there is a perceived discomfort that will come from spending that time. It could be an old pattern it could be an old set of beliefs. It could be an old story. Whatever it is, uncover what it is, meet it head on, and really ask yourself, is this something that is actually important to me? Is this a core value of mine? And if it is, what is the work that I get to do to change the story, to change the narrative, to take back the power so that you can live into your greatest potential? So that is all from me today. I do hope that you found some value. As I said, I'm very excited to have Claire on the podcast in the future. Absolutely loved her session. I shared on my Instagram directly after Claire's session yesterday that I laughed my way through her presentation whilst taking copious amounts of notes. And I don't think there is a better way to learn through humor and yet have major things land for you. And that's what I got from Claire's session. So she's definitely going to come on the podcast in the future. And I will have my beautiful business bestie in Dr. Ali Young next week on Aligned with Kell Quarrell. Until then, have a beautiful day, have a beautiful week, and I look forward to you tuning in next week. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Aligned with Kell Quarrell. I hope our conversations have inspired you to be bold in the pursuit of your dreams. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with the business women in your life and took the time to leave a review. Your feedback is like an ice-cold glass of Prosecco, always welcomed and always appreciated. You might even consider giving the show a follow. Until next time, continue to take bold action towards aligning your business with your deepest desires.